only very certain things trigger the feeling. And for me, I feel like a lot of it has to do with like transit, like whenever we're in a car, whenever I'm like flying or at the airport. It's like, I think for me, it's like masses of people going to like similar destinations. But I'm like, the freaking flight to Tahiti is full. Who's going to Tahiti? It's like, well, I'm going to Tahiti.
Where are you, Julie? Where are you?
Why are you starting with my God?
Oh, how are you? Because it's been a day and I need people to know not every day is perfect.
It's been a long day for Helen.
God. It's been a day. It's been a day of meetings. I'm crammed in this room. Things are spinning too fast. I haven't been able to play on TikTok enough. I got a haircut though. Isn't it cute?
You did get a haircut. I was dying because your little transition. It's like you can't. Okay, I know you got a haircut, and I love how a good haircut feels. But you did this transition, and there is just
no change,
no visible change.
No change. Well, that's why I didn't even say it's a hair transition. I was just thinking it's like a transition from in the salon to out of the salon. I purposely wrote that in the caption. I wrote.
Oh, sometimes I don't read the captions on TikTok.
Well, I purposely didn't make it like this is a hair transition because you can't even tell the difference. And I said, after she cut it, I said, oh, we could go a little shorter because once it was dry.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, oh, really? Do you have more time? And then I'm like, no, unfortunately, I don't have more time. So we couldn't start over. So I said, I'll come back in another month. It's so funny because one of the times she cut my hair so dramatically short. And I was thinking, okay, let me make sure she knows this is just a cleanup. And then she went almost the opposite direction now. So hardly took anything off. And I love her to death. So I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
She didn't chop me, but it doesn't even look cut. I'm like, I needed it to look more cut.
Speaking of hair, I need to get a haircut. Like I want to get one because I love getting a haircut. But I feel like I'm scarred from my last haircut that I'm like, I don't. So I got a haircut. If you were following me on the TikTok, I posted about it because my hairdresser was just talking my ear off the whole time. And then I ended up with a haircut where like the bangs are longer than a little bit back from the bangs. It was like a mess. It was quite honestly one of the worst haircuts I've ever gotten. And then I went and I got it fixed and the girl was just like, a professional cut your hair. Like she was even in shock at how bad it was. So I feel like I'm scarred. But I do want to get one. I'll probably wait another month or so potentially. But should we talk about the skill that I have developed recently that I now cut Steven's hair?
Oh, I love that skill.
I cut his hair.
I just can't believe it. Because for all the years that I used to cut Tommy's and Dad's hair and Jonathan's hair, you finally have picked up the game.
I know. And I'm going to give him probably another haircut today. So that's why it's on my mind. Because I have to. It's stressful because I don't want to mess up.
Yes. It always
But it is cool at the end to be like, oh, I did that. Like, it looks good.
That is cool. It is cool. It's a good skill set. And you're an artist, so it makes sense that you can do it. Me, it's less logical that I would be able to do it, but I run by instinct a lot of the times. She cut layers into my hair. I actually can't even tell, but I wanted it to be lightened up a little bit, and so I wanted layers. But of course, when I requested layers, all I could think about was your crazy haircut, and I'm like, I hope she doesn't go overboard, and then mess up my hair.
I know you don't like this, but you should get your hair not like super thinned out in the back, but. You should get your hair is so thick that you could do with some like.
I know.
I don't know why you don't do that.
She did thin it out. I don't know what do you mean because I said thin it out and she really thinned it out a lot.
Oh,
and
that's
it still
good,
looks
because your hair
like
is
blunt to me.
So thick.
It's so thick. I have so much, and that's why I said lighten it up around here. I really wanted to be like an inch or two shorter, to be honest. So maybe on the next one.
If it was an inch or two shorter, you would have been upset.
Maybe regretted it.
Yeah.
She knows me well, so she didn't do it. But I said also maybe make my bangs a little more curtainy, and she's like, really? And she made a face, and I went, all right, never mind, because maybe it's not cool. So I trust her vision more than mine. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so that's where we are. But I'm happy that I got a cut. It's just that I didn't have a good transition because my hair looked exactly the same before and after.
Oh my God, you couldn't make a TikTok.
Right.
Tragedy.
It's important, especially when I have no time to make TikToks, and I was counting on that one.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Honestly. Anyway, look, I'm holding the mic again. Is this terrifying?
Slightly.
because let's just talk about what I'm doing in this room and how we've changed. We're revamping. And I had to call you today and ask you if it's okay if I let your childhood furniture go, which was like big. I didn't know if you were going to be okay with that. And then your suggestion was good, though. You said, ask Tommy and Jenna, and they're going to take it.
They are?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. I knew it.
Yeah, it's good. It makes sense because it's a whole set and it's from Pottery Barn.
I know.
And it just needs like new knobs.
I always thought that like if you change the knobs, it'd be like it'd be more modern. I personally just like have beef with it because for me, like for adult clothes, it's not like the right dresser because it's not big enough.
It's not.
But for like when I was in middle grade and middle school, like it works. It just, you can only do one layer of clothes in there. It's not like you're stacking things.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely not right and it's not right for what I need this room to be now. And right now, look for even for example, this is not the spot I should be filming in.
You didn't even explain what you're doing with the room. You got so caught up with the furniture. So let's go back and explain why we're getting rid of the furniture in the room.
All right. So there's a couple of reasons. So for years, we've had this room and it's been a bedroom. And then occasionally when I have to come in here to do a meeting, if Dad and I are both working at home together and he needs to do a meeting out there. So I have a rolling desk that I bring in, but it's literally so crammed. I'm in this corner and nowhere else. And right now it's not even great because the sun's going down in a weird way. And sorry about the lighting on my face. I can't avoid it, but it would be much better if I could be over there with the light coming in the window this way. Mm-hmm. But what's back there is a bunch of closets. And then I can't get there because the bed's in the way. So I'm turning this bedroom into the mothership studio. And I'm so excited about it. So we're going to have a Murphy bed. And then I want to get like a nice light. So if I need to shoot late, I can turn a light on, like a nice little umbrella light. I'm going to have a desk, chair. I need to figure out a backdrop. I probably need some artistic help from you about what's the backdrop. And then on the Murphy bed itself, it can just be a bed, but it can also have a piece of art on the front or a mirror on the front. And I was thinking of doing a mirror. Instead of having this mirror back here, then I can have a mirror over there. So I'm thinking about revamping. But part of me doesn't have the design vision, and I get a little stressed about that. I want to make sure someone's making it into a nice space that makes sense and also looks good. But I'm working on it.
I think it's funny, not funny, but when you were asking about the furniture, all I said was like, you can't get rid of the chair. I don't know why I have like an attachment to it's like the chair is like I'm attached to that chair. I'm like, you can't get rid of it.
No, I wouldn't get rid of the chair because I need a chair in here, a cozy chair. But I was almost thinking I need a reading chair. And then I was thinking, is that enough? Should I get like a pair of chairs, like to have a little, right?
But you got to think when the Murphy bed's down that that stuff will still fit. Because it's like you don't want to put so much stuff.
We're not going to have all these dressers here.
True. But aren't you going to put like a desk?
I would like to have my roll like that. It's not going to be a rolling desk, though. I think I'm going to get one without wheels. So it's not like rolling around when I'm trying to work. So I'm going to get a standing desk.
You should get another. I mean, I don't know if this makes sense, but you should get one of those desks that hang into the wall and like come down, so that you can when we visit, you can pull the desk back up so that it doesn't take up space.
Well, hear me out on this because the Murphy bed has that feature. Like you can have one of the if I wanted to, but it's like custom design. They would have to design a desk in there that comes down, and then I couldn't raise and lower. It's way more stuck. Like I'm stuck with it at the height it is, and then I can't move it anywhere in the room. So I think that I do have to do a desk. I think I do. I mean, that's the one thing. But then we can push it back against the wall when you're here, and it can be where you put your suitcases or something. We'll work it out because I think I need to have a desk, and I'm going to get the one that goes up and down, I think with the electronic button this time.
You should get like a thin one because you don't ever have a lot of papers on your desk. Like it doesn't need to be like a deep desk.
No, not deep. That just needs to be. And it's funny because when I do record and I have to push my phone away, I end up using it opposite, like rectangle. I sit on the edge and then you know what I mean? I turn it as I need it. But yeah, that's all happening. I'm pretty excited about it. I just feel like now that I decided I want it to be done and I have no time to do it. I have a shoot next week. Dad's having surgery, like woo, 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 woo. So I'm going to do it one day at a time, make a little progress. Tonight, we're going to have a meeting. I'm meeting with my measuring expert. That would be Tom. And he's going to measure, and we're going to figure out what we should put up there. Like if we should get one with the side cabinet or just the bed itself, and then design other things around it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else I did today? I
What?
just took the party up to the roof, and it was really smart. Like in the middle, I don't know. I had an afternoon meeting, and I took my little MiFi and my laptop, and I went up to the roof, and I sat there for a little while and worked, and it was so refreshing, and it actually gave me energy and made me feel good about the next meetings I was in. I was really happy about it. And then I even made a piece of content when I was up there, because I got my results to my nutrition test. This is so key. I have to tell you this. So I did that Plexus
I thought we already
DX.
did this.
No, I have to tell you. I got my Plexus results, and with the results of the nutrition test comes a nutrition appointment. And I have never met with a nutritionist. So lo and behold, today, in the midst of the zillion meetings I had that was completely stressful, I had this nutrition appointment, and I almost wanted to just cancel it and tell her I have to do it another time. So happy I did it. She was lovely. She was amazing. Great insights. She started talking about, oh my gosh, a word. And I said, oh, I know that word now from you.
FODMAP.
Starts with yes, she was talking about FODMAP. Then she was telling me about macros and what my DNA kind of macros I should be doing. It was great. And I loved talking to her. I wanted it to go longer. She also loved talking to me. And she's said, oh, I did kind of look you up when they told me that you were a TikToker. Because I guess the person that booked my appointment told her that. I don't know. So she thought it was funny. And then she said, oh, if you want to have another follow-up meeting. And I'm like, I feel like I had bonus time with the nutritionist. And I feel that I learned so much. And I was just really into it. And it was good. So now when I was on the roof today, I decided to make the content about it, because I was so fresh and it felt like excited to talk about it and the things that I learned. And I do have histamine intolerance, which is acidic foods, and sometimes like a lot of it has to do with acids. It also means I'm more highly not in demand of, but highly susceptible to food allergies, which is weird because I don't ever have food allergies. But you know, maybe that's part of what my reaction to certain foods is. It's like not allergic, but it's like intolerant. So I learned a lot. It's really good. If anybody wants to get it, I have an affiliate link. So let's put it in the show notes.
Let's put it in the show notes.
Let's put it in the show notes. I have an affiliate link, and it's not just for the nutrition. You can also do a medication one. So if you are a person that takes a lot of medicines for things, which is not me, in my case, I preferred the nutrition one. But if you take a lot of medicines, this also analyzes your DNA and teaches you what medicines that you can't absorb, your body doesn't absorb. I mean, it's great information. I was very excited about it. I know. And I was like, I have an affiliate link. I'm not even trying to fake it. This is serious stuff. Deal. The real deal, finally.
I was going to say my health journey yesterday was that I have a doctor's appointment, which that I thought was in 3 weeks, but it's in 2 weeks. And I needed to get blood work done. And because it's like my holistic doctor, like a more all-encompassing, they require a lot more tests. And they're specialized tests. So sometimes they take, last time it took 10 days to get my results. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like really pushing it. I'm freaking out. So Steven gets up and I'm like, I need to get my blood work done.
You have to come with me.
And you have to come with me, because the last time I got this blood work done for this doctor, because they're taking so much blood, this is when I fainted and threw up. So I was like, I can't redo this. I couldn't make an appointment. I had to go, we get into one lab. There's so many people. I'm freaking out. I'm like, this is never going to happen. They're like, walk-in's not guaranteed if busy. And I'm like, oh my God. So then, you know how the labs sometimes close between 12 and 1. I was like, there's another lab around the corner. It opens in 10 minutes. Let's go there. I'll be the first on the standby list. So I get there. I'm like running up. And there is a line outside of this lab. Yes, of people showing up for the same reason I was.
Oh.
Yes.
What?
Crazy. I know.
Oh, I'm so surprised.
I get in, I'm like third in line, but I'm in the elevator with everybody else. I'm like, oh my God, everyone's going to this lab. So I shimmy my way off the elevator so fast because I'm like, I'm going to get in line before these other people. And I get in line. I check in. I somehow got an appointment while I was checking in. So I was like, at least I'm guaranteed to be seen. But I go and I'm sitting in the chair before we're about to do it. And I'm like, just so you know,
starting to get lightheaded.
I'm really prone to fainting. I always tell everyone I'm like really prone to fainting. I'm really bad with needles. So I'm just going to let you know that I'm like keep my eyes closed.
Right.
And I saw her type a note in my thing. It says, needs to lie down. So then she took me to the back because she said long order. Long order. I think it was like 15 vials. Like it was a lot of blood. That was the worst part. I did fine. I brought, Steven was with me. We brought a cooler bag with an ice pack that I put on my chest during the whole thing because that really helps like regulate when you're nervous. So I put it on my chest while she was doing it, and I was listening to music.
My God.
And I had a hat on, and I was breathing, and I was very focused. But it took for fucking ever for her to pull this blood. Gosh. It was so much. And my arm was sore from how long she was like in there getting.
That's really a lot. Yeah. And is it for this nutrition stuff that you're
yeah,
doing
to
all
like
these blood
update.
vials?
I haven't done this amount of blood work for in the past like year.
That's
so it's like everything with my stomach. And this time she did a lot of like hormone testing to make sure like my hormones are okay. And she does thyroid stuff and like
I haven't even had that many blood vials taken for cancer.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Like, what?
I know. So that was my day yesterday because I was like, I need to get this done. Her next appointment was January, so I couldn't even push off the appointment by a week because I was like, if I either push it off by 3 months. So it had to get done, and that was our day yesterday.
I'm telling you, there has been I was in some TikTok post where somebody was talking about how many doctor's appointments they have to make for a year. Like all the doctors you have to see, from the dermatologist to the gynecologist to, for me, it's an endocrinologist. I have to go to the gastroenterologist. So I feel it now. And then sometimes I think, oh, it was only a few months ago that I saw that one. I was like, oh, it's been a year already because we're doing so many doctor's appointments. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm late for my dental cleaning, and you know how obsessed I am with that.
Same.
And I'm like, I got to get to that teeth cleaning. I'm freaking out. So I got to book that. But
yeah,
especially it gets on my mind when I'm about to shoot Pronamel, which is, next week. So I'm like, I got to get on top of my dental hygiene.
The thing that I feel like this will lead into what we wanted to talk about today.
Okay.
But I'm at the place and there's so many other people there. And I'm like, what is everyone doing here? Especially when I'm like, I need to get it done. I'm like, why is everyone here? I'm like, it is 12:30 on a Tuesday. Why is everybody here?
It's so true. Juli, so intro the topic because I kind of love it. We have a history with this topic, and you do and I do in a way. So go ahead.
So the topic is like the word for it. I'm going to explain what it is, but the concept is this like not fascination, but the awareness that like everybody else is leading an intricate, complex life with the stories and relationships and people. So like I've always had a fascination with it when we're driving, and I'm like, everybody here is going somewhere. Everybody here is going to see family, or they're going to work. I'm like, the car next to us is filled with 2 people. Those 2 people also have people that they're with, and they have a whole life, and they're completely unaware from my life. And so I have always been interested in this. And then I think sometime in college, I saw something I feel like this is going to like date me, but I saw something on Tumblr, which is like very millennial of me.
Yeah. I still have Tumblr on my phone.
Yeah. And it said like, there's a word for this concept, and it's called Sonder, Sonder. And then from there, like knowing that it had a word, that's what I ended up doing my senior thesis project around. That was like the theme. So
it is amazing. And your theme at the time, I don't even know if I was as aware. Well, I didn't know there was a word for it, but I realized that this is something you and I have in common. We've never talked about before, but I can throw it back to when I was in my 20s. So you did this project, you were in your 20s. Mm-hmm. I became very, very aware of this in my 20s in college. And I'll tell you what triggered it for me was I would sit on the subway and I would look around and I would think each person is going somewhere and their life is as full as mine. And I'm like, what's their story? And I became so intrigued with this that I would sit on the subway and I would make stories up. Like, this person's probably going here. She probably is meeting her husband and maybe she has a child. Like, I would make up the stories because it was so intriguing to me that everybody was like this. And then I kind of forgot about it for a period of time. I was always aware of other people having lives, but not and then it came back when you did the college thesis, and I was like, oh, I remember this being such a obsession of mine, would take over my mind. And then cut again. Now I've kind of forgot about it since the college thing, but it has become back to me it came back to me really, really hardcore again when I started talking about recording content in public. And I was like, every single person who's out there and you're recording content and you're recording yourself or whatever, they have their own life. They're not obsessing on what are you doing on the corner? Why are you taking out your phone? No one really gives a darn what you're doing. Like they're living their own full, vibrant life with their own family and destination where they're headed and work that they have to do. So, and now it's kind of all tying together for me from my past to your college thing to now, how it's like this common theme of people and the awareness of people having very full lives outside of ours. They're all their own main character. Love the word. I love those words.
Love the word.
Main character. You know?
Yeah. I know. I think I've always been like a people watcher, like not in a creepy way, but I've always been very observant. Like we were talking about my comedic persona the other day, and I'm like, I feel like a lot of it just comes from like being an observant human in my own life. Like sometimes even being outside myself, experience feeling like the drone story of Tahiti. But yeah, I've always been super, super, super observant of even like tiny little things. And I feel like that's where it comes from, of that. So my thesis ended up being like all about that. And during college, my final thesis was photography, because at the time I had been doing a lot of graphic design. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to have a lot of opportunities post college to be a photographer. So I'm going to do that now. And this is also at a time when I was really into like documentary photography and like journalism, photojournalism. So the project was picking people and photographing their lives for a week and then having like 20 still images of their life. And eventually it's supposed to be like how each person is connected to the other person and how it's like a chain. So it's like, I did Steven, and then after I did Steven, I did one of his roommates, and then after I did one of his roommates, I think I did another roommate, and then I did the roommate's girlfriend, and then I did.
So it was a thread of people.
It was like a thread of people.
But there was focused on their life. Like each one was always focused on their life.
Yeah.
And for me, it also hits me at weird times. So I don't think about it every minute or every day when I'm looking around. I'm just kind of in my world doing my thing. But just for example, the other day I was walking through the Union Square Farmers Market, and it hit me again. I was like, where's this person going? Where's that person going? And then I started zoning in. And I don't.
It's true.
I think if it happened to me often, it would probably be distracting. So luckily I can block it out. But you know what I mean, right?
Yes. It's like only very certain things trigger the feeling. And for me, I feel like a lot of it has to do with like transit. Like whenever we're in a car, whenever I'm like flying or at the airport. It's like, I think for me, it's like masses of people going to like similar destinations. But I'm like, why is this person also going to New York right now or Tahiti? Right. I'm like the freaking flight to Tahiti is full. Who's going to Tahiti? It's like, well, I'm going to Tahiti.
Right? Right. And so mine are triggered a lot by New York City experiences. And I think maybe
New York minute.
It's a New York minute. It's a, New York or nowhere, as my thing says, my shirt from you, by the way. But it's always something where I'm aware of the vibrant lives of others, because I always think in New York City, people that live here, their life is so like there's a certain energy here that I feel when I'm here. And I just think, oh, that person's got that energy and they're going here. And that person's like, oh, and why is that guy playing drums on the top of a bucket and he's just hanging out there? Not even like a homeless person. Like, who is he? But it's just, that's when it hits me a lot, when I'm walking alone in the city. And I'm not always aware of it when I'm with other people, unless it's like silent times. But that's when it really, really hits me, is just like being in maybe a crowded space, maybe being on the subway, maybe walking through a market. It just hits me hard. And it becomes very distracting. Yeah. Because my mind goes into all their stories.
It is. It's very interesting.
I wonder if other people have this, like a lot of other people. Yeah, I'm really curious.
I don't know.
Did you talk to Steven about it? Does he have?
I feel like we talked about it on the sailing trip a little bit. just having the idea. I mean, we always say it, even the two of us, like when we're going to, like when we're flying somewhere, we're like, where are all these people going? Like we're always kind of like that. So it's, yeah, for me, it's always like public transit.
Public transit, amazing.
And maybe I don't have it as much because I'm driving more places in LA. But then it's like I'm on the highway with all these people. Like last night coming home from like an open mic, all these people on the highway in traffic together.
Well, and now recently for me, it's been more recently this. If I'm doing something in public where I'm recording something and then somebody will be, how did you ever do that in public? And I'm like, do you think these people, everybody's going somewhere. They have things to pay attention to. They're not paying attention to me. And if they are, I'm just an extra in their vision, like an extra in their movie. And that's how I always think of it now. I've always thought a lot about life being a video. Like my life story. My life as I live is my own little video series of videos.
Your own movie.
My own movie starring Goldie Hawn.
Yeah, the main character.
I am the main character. But I always tell people, don't worry about them. They're your extras. And then some of them are your supporting cast. You can worry about them if you want to. But don't worry about the extras. They're fine. They're doing their thing. And they're their own main character in their own story. I kind of love that. It's one of my favorite things about being, it's a good take on being on content creation when you feel intimidated or you think someone's watching you or you're so obsessed about like what people think. It's so funny because Grandma recently said something to me like, okay, well, we'll just digress for a second, but she lives in an assisted living and there was some 2 jewelry items of hers taken. And then eventually they were returned because the person got called out and they didn't ever admit, but somebody it mysteriously came back. Anyway, the point of the story is she said, everybody here, they think that I'm crazy and that that I misplaced them. I go, no one thinks that. They were gone. They all looked in the jewelry box. We know that they were gone. But I followed up to her to say, why do you care what everyone thinks? You're 85 years old. Like I think it gets easier to not care what people think. Like you are standing your ground. You believe what you believe. You know it to be true about yourself. So why are you worried about what people think? Let them talk. Who cares?
Maybe some for her, and maybe sometimes it's like, oh, everyone thinks I'm crazy, but maybe it's like she thinks she's being crazy, and maybe it's almost like she's projecting how she feels about herself on other people. Because sometimes it's like sometimes I feel like that's the thing when I think about when other people think of me, and I'm like, well, maybe it's just that's what I'm thinking of myself. And I'm projecting it onto other people. Because if I had an outfit on that I felt like uncomfortable in, or like felt was like out there, I'd be like, oh, everyone's gonna think this outfit's so crazy. It's like if I asked you or Steven what you think of the outfit, you guys would probably be like, oh, it's great. I'm the one who thinks it's crazy. But so
So you're projecting your
maybe it's like we're
yourself
projecting.
That's insightful. Wow.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe that's true. But I don't know because she doesn't always like to admit anything about herself.
But maybe she's doing it subconscious. Like she doesn't realize.
Okay.
I think a lot of the time you don't realize you're doing it, but you are.
True.
It's like maybe it's something, a way to check in. It's like, I think
true.
other people think that, am I really concerned what other people think of this outfit? Or am I more concerned that like I'm uncomfortable and like think this is not for me?
It's so interesting. Okay. Well, I'm going to think about that next time too. The next time I do ever have a moment where I think, is somebody thinking something about me? It's not as often as when I was younger, but that's for sure. I barely think about it. I'm like, if I'm out doing my thing and people let them judge me. I don't know. I think social media fixed a lot of my judgment problems in life. Because I think before social media, I would be more concerned about, oh, I want to make this right. I want this person to like me, and now it's like you realize there's so many millions of people in the world and they're not all going to like you or agree with you. So that's okay. It feels so good to have that realization. So on top of Sonder, we can add that realization to the party. It feels good. I hope that you can get there sooner than it took me to get there.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to get there when you're younger because you do care what people think and you have, I don't know. I think you're years beyond your years in terms of self-awareness, but it still takes years of experience to have that the FU attitude, as they say. The Gen Xers always talk about that on social media. Like, I don't have any fucks left to give, or whatever they do, their little videos. And I'm like, yeah, I got that.
Their little videos.
The little videos about like the funny things. Like
Yeah.
I follow a couple of those like comedic ones that do like little short videos with a title on it. No fucks left to give type thing.
Yeah.
I don't mean little sized videos.
And they're like, oh, your cute little videos.
Cute little videos.
I like how you have, for those not watching on the YouTube, the stuffed animals in the background that I asked you to move.
I forgot. They were in my shot today when I was on Zoom calls, and one of the clients asked me about it. And then,
what are the stuffed animals doing right now? Are their lives rich and full of complex and intricate relationships?
They're hangry, I'll tell you that much. They're always thinking about food.
You're giving a plug.
The hangry pets are with me at all times. He sent me a whole new series of them, which is really fun. Those like raccoons and dolphins, and I'm like brimming with stuffed animals right now. So, which is good because I have a shoot with little girl next week. So at least I have some props to bring to entertain her.
Another thing that always piques my Sonder interest is like going to restaurants and like
conversations.
Because then you see the relationships of the people kind of happening, and you catch a glimpse. Or like when we go to a place of like Steve and I are big foodies, and sometimes we'll go to like pop-ups or experiences where there's a line, and we'll wait in that line, and I'm like, wow, all these other people are also in this line. What are they doing? Like who in their life probably thinks they're like ridiculous for waiting in this 2-hour line for a sandwich?
Oh my
like,
gosh. Hold up. Speaking of long lines, there's a new croissant place around the corner. Croissant called Tall Poppy. This is like a free plug for them, but I'm walking around to go get the car, and I see this line, and I'm thinking, is this I thought, because it looked like it was an apartment building, one of those little kind of hidden apartment buildings. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if it's an apartment is up and there's like a lineup of, because it was all like very young Gen Z type age people. And I'm thinking maybe there's an apartment thing. So that's what I thought. I walk by, I get to the garage, and I say to Nettie, what the heck are they lining up for over there? And he goes, oh, Helen, that place, the croissants.
Oh, I know what it is.
Tall Poppy.
Whenever we walk to the garage, I see it.
Really?
But I've never seen it open.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's been there. But so he tells me this place has the best croissant. Now I feel conscious of saying the word. And you know the audio on TikTok that's like, I need a croissant. And it's like this big, anyway, it's a very dramatic audio, which I made a Hangry Pets video to the audio. That's why it's so fresh in my mind. So now I'm very conscious of saying the word correctly. But the croissants are supposed to be amazing. And he even said, Nettie, the garage guy said, oh, very expensive, but worth it. And for him to say that, I'm like, this guy, he's a croissant connoisseur. I don't know. But so I went yesterday, and I was like, oh, so excited. I get out. I'm making content. I'm going to go into the croissant place. They sold out. It's only open Wednesday to Friday. So it was Tuesday. So I was
in New York City?
In New York City. So I was like, shoot. So then today I was going to get a croissant. And I was in meetings. And then Dad texts me from the other room at 5 to 3 and says, no croissants, because I had told him I was going to go get them. And I'm like, oh no, why didn't you remind me earlier? I would have left and ran over there. So I missed it today. So tomorrow we're getting croissants, and I will report back. Tomorrow. Oh, today.
Oh my God.
I was on a Zoom.
You're on a roll.
I'm on a roll. I was on a Zoom call with clients, and they had a science lady get on to explain the science behind the product.
A scientist. That's all you need to say.
The accent was, I wish I could do it. Because she was so, I don't know if it was Staten Island or Brooklyn, but she was talking about the science of the product. And I was like, wow, she's a character from a movie. She was so amazing. I loved listening to her. I was locked in just because of her accent.
Can you imagine if you went to a family event, like bringing Sonder back since that's our topic, but if you went to a function with her and all the
so good
characters you would meet?
Gosh, I love a good accent. I love it because I can just drink it up. And when I hear an accent and I think, I got to try and place this. Is it Canada? Whatever it is. I'm so tuned into little nuances in people's words, and I'll pick it up. I'll think, oh, they maybe we're from Boston, or there's something. I pick up a little word I can always pick up a Canadian. Like when I say there's something that there's a few words they have that they say different, and I'm always right on top of that. I can right away spot a Canadian. I love it. I love that I can tune into the subtleties. Anyway.
Do you have any other thoughts on Sonder before we?
No, I don't really have any more thoughts. I think that it's never going to change. I think we're always going to have this floating in and out of our life when the moments come and then you start getting into it. You should take Sonder and write a book. Oh, I have one more thought. When I'm walking in the city, this is coming out of left field, but I have thought that I want to make a script or somehow a video of when you're walking and people are passing you either faster or you're walking past people. So you're picking up clips of conversations.
Mm-hmm.
This is gold to me. I wish. And sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I should be writing this all down super fast on my phone, because it's like a cacophony of voices and words that strung together could make a whole new story.
Mm-hmm.
So people pass by and there's two girls talking. Oh my God, I can't believe he did that. And then the next person passes by. Yes, and I spoke to her last night and she told me blah, blah. And how cool would that be to make a piece of I really wanted to one day just write. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. There's an episode of a TV show that we watch. It's called Master of None. And in this first or second season, there's an episode where the main character goes into a movie. And while he's in the movie, it follows kind of what you're talking about, where it's like a chain of people. And it's like a chain of people where you're following this person for a little bit, and then while they're in the store, there's another couple, and then the camera kind of turns, and now it's that couple's story, and it kind of just goes through.
It keeps following different people.
It picks up. So it's kind of the concept you're talking about, but done in a television show where there's a little more context because you're picking up, and they're doing short little moments of these people's lives and the conflict that they're having. That's cool. You should watch it.
I should watch it. But my vision's very, it's very TikTok. So it's short. So it's forward, all these forward clips that I hear as I'm walking that are never a whole story, that are threaded together to become a new story. Yeah. And it's just oh my gosh. And just that sound, the voices, different voices. Anyway, I have to do something with it at some point. I think about it often, on and off through the years. It's not it's not something that new that came into my mind. I've been thinking about it for the last 4 years of being on social media.
Do it.
I got to do it. So many things to do.
I know.
So little time and so little light as the sun is setting in my room here.
This is a fun
we'll
one.
wrap it up. That was fun. I love that we both have this same thing in common about thinking about other people in that same way.
Felt like this was an express episode for some reason.
Ooh.
I don't know why, but it went fast.
It's 40 minutes.
I know.
The sun has set.
Well, it was a good one then.
I know. I had fun. It was a good one. And we'll see you next time. Yours truly,
Helen and Julie.
Yay. Thanks for being with us today. As always, we love it. We have good stuff coming. We have topics and ideas we want to talk about, and lots of changes coming. So stay with us, and we'll see you on the next one. You know where to follow us, and you know how to support HelloSocialize.com and both of our social medias.